start just with an opening statement from today's game.
JMU played very well today, and they played, like the two-time champion they are. I thought Jasmine Guathney really set the tone. Obviously, she had a below-par game yesterday, and she came out looking to shoot the ball and take her patented pull-up jump shot, and obviously we had problems trying to defend her. Our rotations weren't great. They needed to be better today to stay with JMU. And quite honestly, JMU needed to not shoot the ball well. They did not shoot well yesterday. They shot very well today early on and got a comfortable lead. And from there, it's very difficult against a team as athletic and as long as JMU to try to come back on them because they put so much pressure on our players, and they do such a great job with their size inside. So I thought it was a tough game for us from the standpoint of JMU felt they had something to prove because they did not play well yesterday, and they really played well today. And that's what champions do. I mean, I've coached some teams that are obviously won this thing, and if you have a bad game and you're the number one team and you have the best player on your team, which Jasmine Guathney is the best player in our league, she wants to have a bounce-back game, and today she did, and she led her team to a victory, and they played extremely well.
Hey, Tina, two stats that kind of jump out at me when I looked was you guys were 0 for 7 on threes. They were 10 for 24. You guys had 2 offensive rebounds. They had 14. How important were those 2 factors?
Well, I mean, against JMU, obviously, they shot the ball, as I said. The only way you're going to stay in a game, and I don't care who it is in our league, with JMU, is if they shoot the ball poorly. Period. They're the best team in the league. And everybody has to understand, and they have to know, because they're such good athletes and because they are an outstanding rebounding team, you as an opponent have to shoot the ball well, and you have to establish an inside game too. We struggled to do both today. We turned the ball over too much. You're not going to get a whole lot of threes because their athleticism at the guard spot is the best in the league. You're looking at a 6'2" guard in Guathney. You're looking at Perez, who's a fifth-year senior, coming in from St. John's. You're looking at, Angela, who's quicker than quick. And so it's hard to get threes off against them the way they play defense, as long and as athletic as they are. So, that doesn't, bother me as much as the fact that they made 10 threes or whatever they made, and they shot the ball much better today from 3 than they did yesterday. So we were hoping, obviously, that we could defend better, but let's face it, they came out, as I said, guns a-blazing, and they were hitting shots, and we needed to try to keep pace with that, and we had a tough time getting the ball inside. They were much better defensively today. I thought their team really was much more focused today. They didn't play as uptight today, and that usually is what happens. In your first-round game, you're the team that's supposed to win. The pressure was on. They did not play well yesterday. I expected them to come and play like the JMU that I know over the last 2 years, and they did. They played really well, and we really struggled to follow our game plan.
Coach, you've had a lot of matchups with JMU. You mentioned that momentum. How tough is it to kind of deal with these JMU teams when they come out again early and establish that presence and shoot the ball very, very well?
Well, I mean, they're the best team in the league, like I said. When we had our teams and we shot the ball well, and we had a veteran team, and JMU's a veteran team. I mean, they obviously they have the Cooper Williams kid inside, but let's face it, they rely on their 2 fifth-year seniors, and they rely on their senior point guard, and they have a lot of good senior leadership, and they played like it today. They played like a champion today. So you tip your hat to them. You gave it your best effort. I thought we were slow on our rotations defensively, whether we were in the man or whether we were in the zone. I thought their 3 seniors, Perez, Guathney, and Mickens, they all stepped up. They all played really, really well. And when you got that kind of leadership and they're playing really, really well, I don't think anybody in the league is going to beat them. Now maybe Drexel will surprise tomorrow, maybe Northeastern, but the way they played today, that's why they're champions of this league the last 2 years. They've got the best player, and their kids played really, really well together today. If they repeat that performance tomorrow, they'll win a championship again. And I'm not going out on a limb with that.
Do you guys, the rest of the league, sometimes wonder where he finds all these kids? Because, other teams have come, had the great run, then you retool, and then you're back again. But it just seems like every year you figure, oh, well, maybe they'll go down next year. They're still right there in the hunt.
Well, I mean, he gets, it's a good thing. He's had some kids that he's recruited that have gone to BCS levels, and so have we, and some kids stay and some kids leave. And he's got some very good transfers in. Obviously, it's paid off well that they've redshirted Guathny. She needed to get stronger. She needed to get more skilled, and you give the kid credit. She worked on her game. I've got kids in my locker room that I'm hoping that, obviously we're going to really go to work and work on their games. One of them sitting right here to my right, and Nicole, just a freshman. Her game can continue to get even better. She made the all-rookie team. The better teams to be good year in and year out, and we've been one of the top programs year in and year out. We're in a little bit of a rebuilding mode right now, but you got to work with your players. Kenny works with his players. I work with my players. Denise Dillon works with her players. The same teams are usually in the top 4 or 5 in the league because we work with our kids and they continue to get better. He's gotten some good transfers in. Those kids have developed. Those kids have played well, and JMU has good players. I mean, that's the bottom line. And this league has been dominated by great teams like an Old Dominion who won 17 straight titles and went to the Final Four. We're all trying to develop our players. We're all trying to get good players at our institutions. Kenny's been able to get some very good players. He's developed them, and so have other teams and other coaches in this league, and that's why it's such a good league.
Is that what you have to do to narrow the gap with them, Tina? Or what do you have to do to narrow the gap with JMU as dominant as they've been in recent years?
Well, they've, dominant, I mean, they won championships. I don't think they're dominant. They won a game yesterday by 3 points. They beat Elon in overtime, and they lost, they beat them by 1 point. I mean, I don't think that they're winning, yes, but dominant means they're beating everybody. Now, they beat us today by 20, but bottom line is that people are competing with them right now, but they're still winning basketball games. I don't think dominant. I would say Old Dominion, they were dominant. They're going to Final Fours. They're going to Sweet 16s. We went to the Sweet 16. We were undefeated for 2 straight years. They've been 17-1 for 2 straight years, but it hasn't been without some really close calls. And they've lost games in conference, obviously the one loss. So I don't know if dominant is the right word. They're very good. They're very good right now. And you tipped your hat to them that they're very good. Yes, you have to develop players. Everybody continues to recruit. And the bottom line is that people are competing with James Madison. They are. I mean, Elon had a chance to beat him just a week and a half ago. College of Charleston had a chance to beat him in the quarterfinals. So I wouldn't say dominant, but they're very good right now. I think dominant's when you win 17 straight. I don't think it's when you win 2 straight. So, we've had some very good years at Delaware. James Madison experienced some very good years right now. But I think people in the league are continuing to recruit good players. You develop those players, and then you go out there and you compete and try to win games. That's what Kenny's doing right now. When they win, I don't know, however many years, then you can talk about dominance. But we had a program in this league that was dominant. They were called Old Dominion, and they won 17 straight. It's a long way to go before you can use that terminology. They're very good right now.
Erica, what would you have liked to have seen you guys do better early to kind of stay in the game and kind of challenge them better from the outset today?
I think getting back in transition and then rotating like Coach said. I think when they drove or their post got it and they dished it, we didn't drop. Like College of Charleston yesterday, they did a good job at that, and today we didn't, and I think that was the big key. Like defense was a huge key today.
Nicole, how about you?
I agree. We specifically went over dropping when their point guard penetrates the middle of the lane, and I know that for a fact that I was one of the people who messed up, and a lot of times it didn't happen. So I feel like we needed to work on that. We also needed to rebound more and just play good defense, and we weren't able to do that for a majority of the game.
Hey, Erica, I mean, you saw the great couple games Nicole had. You guys, are still, you're going to bring back most of your team next year. Do you like the fact that, okay, you're close, you're almost there, you're in the semifinals again this year. Do you feel good about, where you guys are and tracking down JMU next year with what you got?
Yeah, I think so, with the team coming back and then with the 4 freshmen that we have coming in. I think we have a really good chance next year, and then off season is all about getting better. So I think a lot of people that are returning next year are going to work hard in this off season and get better so that next year we can give them a run.
Coach, the tournament's going back to school sites. How do you feel about that?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what you said.
The conference tournament, this last year in the Showplace Arena, how do you feel about it going back to the schools?
I like it being, having the neutral site. The coaches fought very hard to get the neutral site, but it's tough to find sites. So that's one of the big reasons we're going back, to campus sites. Obviously, James Madison is going to have it first, and then it's going to rotate, to other schools. But I think that, it doesn't matter where you play. The bottom line is you're playing for a championship. Certainly, JMU has the best following right now of fans, so it should be a great atmosphere. Hopefully, I'm sure Harrisonburg will embrace it and come out strong to make it a great championship type of atmosphere. So I don't get too hung up on it. If I had my vote, I'd vote neutral. But going to campus sites, I think that the schools in this league are great institutions, and no matter where it is, whether it's at JMU, obviously it's coming to Delaware, it's going to Drexel, or even if it went to Hofstra or wherever it went, I think that the institutions would do a terrific job of hosting it and really promoting it to make it a great championship atmosphere. So, I'm okay with it going back to campus sites. I enjoyed it being neutral. Certainly, and of course, Showplace will always have a special place because we won a couple championships here and we were undefeated. But moving forward, it'll give a new, chance for these players to experience a hostile crowd to try to win a championship, and that's always a challenge. So, and it'll move around. So I think everybody will have their opportunity to host it, and I think it'll be good for the league.
Anything else? Thanks, Tom.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.